to ask to come up is Daniel. And Daniel's going to share with us, he's our Chief Marketing Officer of McDonald's. And in my introduction, I said that there is a real magic partnership and relationship between marketing and between Bridget from an HR point of view. And certainly in terms of the journey from a corporate culture perspective, there have been some incredible things that have materialized. And I was saying to Dan that I was stalking him on LinkedIn last night, and I see that you were in the telecom, you're a telecom analyst, you sit on the Laurie Awards, the board there, so definitely obviously making a big contribution to the marketing industry and certainly helping to shape that side of things in the country. And thank you so much for your words of wisdom now, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. So, maybe I shouldn't. Do I need the mic? Maybe I do. I'm just going to take you through the brand and how we've repositioned McDonald's as a brand in South Africa, particularly because around 2014, 2015, economically the country wasn't doing well, but also from a brand perspective, we needed to re-energize ourselves. We're getting up towards Greg's vision as a CEO. At that point in time, the business was going through a lot of change internally, and we needed to muster up from a brand perspective, but also internally, when Bridget came on board from human capital, changing the brand externally meant nothing if the brand internally didn't change. And so even though I'm going to speak a lot about the external focus of the brand and the repositioning, and Bridget will talk about the people side, we worked hand in hand to try and transform the brand externally together internally at the same time, so that when we communicate to our external customers about our repositioning, they feel it through our people. And Greg talked about all those ambassadors, those 11,500 ambassadors that we have in our business, delivering on that. So in creating this ad in 2012, we used these kids from an orphanage in Cape Town, and we went to this whole age home. None of these things were scripted. All we said to the kids was, we want you to deliver these presents to the home. And the whole age people didn't expect these kids coming in. So all you see there is all the natural responses. This was not scripted. And we made this ad. And obviously we won some great awards, and internationally it made a lot of noise, but the gist and the essence is that McDonald's provides those little moments of loving. We don't stand for big things, okay? And I'll take you through that. So when we're at our best as a brand, right, we enable people to have a brief little moment of feel-good moments. That's what McDonald's does. We don't claim to be, world changers. Greg as a CEO will use the brand to try and transform, but the brand stands in the consumer's life. We're about these little moments. We're not about the big things. We're not about big weddings and celebrations like that, where you'll have to book us out as a venue. We are there for your everyday little moments. When mom's taking this kid out from soccer practice and they need an ice cream after that, that's what we're there for. When the child's won a particular event at school to celebrate, or the child is feeling down after a bad day, you bring them to McDonald's to feel good. So that's what we are about. So we did some research, and we try to understand as a brand, as I said to you, we had to go through this metamorphosis of changing. What did we really stand for? And if you look at it, from a brand perspective, we felt that we enable those little moments of loving in our consumers' life. And we knew that McDonald's as a brand, that love happens in life's little moments. You don't wait for big moments to tell your family members that you love them, or you form special family members or friends to get together. You don't wait for special moments. These things happen naturally. And as a brand, that's what we figured out, that life happens in these small moments, and like life, food is meant to be enjoyed as well, and that's what we stand for. Our brand belief was really about delivering these little moments of loving. So how as a brand do we bring this out to our consumers and deliver that? Because I can communicate this, and through the marketing team that's sitting here, these guys can put these lovely ads out there and communicate this, but there's a big element towards realization of this brand belief, and that's where the people element comes into place. And that's why partnering with our HC counterparts, Bridget and her team, to make this a reality for our customers out there was quite important, because we can make these big brand promises, but at the moment of truth, which is over the front counter and drive-through, if those things don't happen, then this brand promise does not exist, or the brand belief does not exist about little moments of loving. So when we look at our local brand positioning, McDonald's operating in South Africa, we said, what do we need to stand for here? And again, celebrating these little moments of loving is what we wanted to enhance and bring through in a very strong, and local relevant way, right? And that for us was a big thing, being a locally relevant brand, because with the Golden Arches, you are defaulted to being this big global brand that people somehow feel disconnected to. And in the market in which we're operating in, the market is quite disparate in the fact that we've got those upper LSMs and we've got the lower LSMs that come through. And our brand straddles those both sides of the market. So for the top end of the market, we are a repertoire brand. You use us as a daily basis. But at the bottom end, they see us as a big aspirational brand, this big American brand. They use us for experiences. And so we need to be locally relevant and accessible to all sides of the market, making sure that they feel comfortable wherever you sit, whatever spectrum, they come through our brand. And so the local brand positioning about how do we show people that we're there through those little moments of loving right across the spectrum, okay? So the big creative idea that we came up with, that we launched internally with the help of human capital, but also our culture pillars that Bridget will talk to you about, underpins that, was love isn't a big thing, it's 1,000 little things. That's our creative expression that we went to the market with. And I think all of us in here can relate to that. You don't wait for one big event to celebrate love. It's the small little things in life that makes life happen. And so that was our brand positioning really, was love isn't a big thing. It's the 1,000 little things that make it happen. And I'm going to show you now how the marketing team brought that creatively to life in an ad that we created in 18 months, 12 months ago. And we're flying it, and I'm sure some of you guys would have seen it, but it's a journey of a brother and sister. And it's actually, we sort of took some insights from a crowdsourcing, and this is partly true of a brother and sister coming up in South Africa, and you'll see how this creatively come together.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me.
So again, those little moments that the brother and sister go through in their entire life journey. And that's where McDonald's play a role. And that's the reality of our brand. We fill in those small moments. We enable those small moments to happen. And that journey, of this brother and sister, and eventually this guy finds his girlfriend in McDonald's. And there's lots of stories about couples hooking up in McDonald's. That's quite true. So it's not something that we kind of make up. So our overall communications architecture, there's a couple of things that we need to reaffirm, and we do that very strongly now moving forward. And the people piece is not in this architecture because Bridget's going to be talking to it, but it's a fundamental piece. It's actually engrossed in our total brand DNA, right? So the people piece is what brings this whole thing to life. As I said, in the restaurants, through the front counter and drive-through, this is where the moment of truth actually happens. So the culture underpins all of this stuff. So the first piece, from a brand architecture standpoint, was we needed to announce and reaffirm our value proposition, right, in a very strong way. Now, Greg spoke about the country doing particularly bad, and I think all of us live and have experienced that in the last 18 to 24 to 36 months in South Africa, how bad things were economically. And now there seems to be a rejuvenation of confidence in the marketplace. But certainly in the last 36 months, it was quite difficult. And one thing that we did as a brand, we were very brave in the economy. And we had to, obviously with Greg pushing us, with the franchisees, do some maverick and brave things in the marketplace. And one of the brave things that we did was we said we're going to take our number one sandwich in our menu, which is the Big Mac, and we're going to drop that price by 20%. Okay? And that price right now is $39.90 in the marketplace. It's the number one sandwich for us. And obviously from a profitability standpoint, people were falling off the chairs because the franchisees like, Daniel, how could you do this to us? The time is already so tough, and you're taking this number one sandwich, you drop this price by 20%. But when the customer can't afford to walk through your doors because they only have 20 Rand in their pocket, and your price is 40 Rand, what do? How do you bring that people in? How do you tell customers that we're still good value? And one of the things that we needed to do was adhere to our consumers, because customers are saying to us, we're going through a tough time. And one of the things that we did do was, through our value proposition, was do that. We dropped our price by 20%. And the numbers have been phenomenal. The response from our customers has been phenomenal. It just happened to be that on the day that we did this massive reset on our menu, the budget speech came out last year in 2017 when we did it. And South Africa was technically in a recession the day that we launched our Big Mac $39.90. And could you imagine the news and the publicity that Greg had to manage, because we had the newsrooms calling us to find out did McDonald's preempt the recession, and that's why we went to the price cut. So it was quite funny. So again, just reaffirming the value proposition of our brand in these in many ways. Again, and value straddles right across our business. And so it's not just about a price point on a product, it's also about the experience. What's the experience in the restaurant? So, and there's a massive drive that human capital was doing at the same time to do this, because they instilled the GEM program in our restaurants, the guest experience manager, and I'm not sure if Briz is going to talk about it, but the guest experience manager was there to enhance the service experience in the restaurant. We talked about service time in the restaurant through drive-through and front counter. So the customer feels the entire value proposition, not just a price on a product, it's the experience, the total experience that played through. So a lot of these things, even though I'm showing you this, but this is the tip of the iceberg. And the bottom end of that iceberg, guys, there's a lot of people prep behind this type of stuff that made these things work as well. The next thing was we needed to also announce delicious food news, right? And it's important that we keep telling our customers that at McDonald's you are going to get the best quality, great tasting food. And it was important for us, as we reposition our brands around little moments of loving, how do we do this? And this was one of the ways that we did it 18 months ago, where we launched this new product range called MCD Supremes, right? We enlisted the services of a chef, Chef Martin, and he developed this line for us. And he still works with us to looking at our menu and menu optimization. But again, showing delicious food news was quite important, because we didn't want people to feel that the brand had somehow gotten cheaper, even though we dropped our price. But again, you're still getting quality food at McDonald's. Okay. So so just moving on very quickly, celebrating ease and convenience. This is another way that we sort of brought this to life. Greg talks about Uber Eats and the business that we're doing at Uber and delivery, and he spoke about the commercial game. But again, that's McDonald's positioning, ease and convenience, right? Bringing that to life. Reassurance of our food quality. You're going to see from this Friday, we're launching a new campaign called Know Our Food. But again, just telling people where our food comes from, what goes in it, and how it's prepared at our restaurants still enhances and reinforces our quality positioning. Again, people play a huge role in this, because we're telling the people story on the supply chain, we're telling the people story around in our restaurants and how they prepare the food, and it's a big piece that we are rolling out with. From demonstrating our family friendliness, I'll just show you an ad of how we brought this to life.
Whatever happened to sharing a meal together? The McDonald's Share Box. Family meals sorted.
Big piece of our plan is to reignite the family business as well. And then the last piece, which is amplifying trust. So our charity of choice is called the Ronald McDonald's House of Charities. Through them, we are building a lot of initiatives as a brand, as the chief sponsor of McDonald's. The man in the middle there is Regis Cosano. He is one of our franchisees, but he's also the chairman of Ronald McDonald's House of Charities. And these are two mums on his right side. The two mums, they are from the house that we are supporting, which is the Baragwanath rooms. And the Ronald McDonald's House of Charities aims to bring families together, keep families close, right? And by supporting these mums that have kids in these neonatal wards that are terminally ill, we believe that keeping the mom close to these kids is another way of healing. We're not medical caregivers, but we do believe in love, little moments of loving, and we believe that love is one of the biggest contributors to healing a child when the child is sick. They need the parents to close. So amplifying our trust credentials to that and showcasing this to the communities in which we operate, that we do care and give back. So that's it, and I'll give it up to Bridget.